Welcome to Pure Dog Talk. I am your host, Laura Reeves, and I've got a really interesting topic, you guys, and this is something that listeners have talked about in the past and people have asked me about, and we've kind of touched on it gently in a few different occasions. But my guest today is Veronica Wolfe from Best in Show Clothes here in sort of the Northwest region. And she had talked to me about some ideas. And so we're going to make this kind of a little bit of a thing. You know, every month or two, we're going to come on and talk a little bit about how we dress at the dog show, how we dress for success at the dog show, all kinds of different topics that I think are of huge interest to our audience and will be life-changing, particularly some of the topic that we're talking about today, which is shoes. So I tell people all the time, Veronica, I spent, when I was handling dogs, I would buy my outfits at Goodwill, and my shoes I would spend $200 and $300 on because they were so incredibly important. So welcome. How are you today?
I'm well, thank you. Thanks for having me. It's exciting to be here.
It's very cool, and it's a great idea, and I really give you a lot of credit for pushing it forward after we talked about it. So today we thought we would talk about foundations. So shoes being one of those foundations, and also foundation garments for women. So this can be a little bit of a touchy subject, so hop to it and tell us a little bit about how you got involved in this business and in dogs in general.
Yes, so I have a junior handler in my family, Sarah, and when she was about 9, she started asking for a show dog, which was funny because we weren't actively involved at all at that time. Previously, my husband and his first wife had shown and bred Tibetan Mastiffs in the 90s. She passed away from cancer, sadly, and my husband and I married and just started having children. He didn't continue it. So about when she was about 11, someone that we knew was showing dogs, Missy Tiffany, invited us to a little puppy match in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. And we went and we just asked everybody, how would a junior get started? How would a junior get started? And so she ran into a generous, nice lady, Linda Baker, with Affin Pinchers. And she said, stay around after the show and let her handle the dog. And long story short, she ended up mentoring her for about 2 years, gave her her first show dog, Diesel, Power Monkey, little Affin Pincher. And she started in 2018. And spring of 2018. And during that year, one of my friends said to me, well, you know, you're going to shows anyways. You should find something to sell. So I started looking at the shows and paying attention and seeing what vendors were there and were not there. And at the same time, my little 11-year-old was growing like a weed. And like every quarter, I was getting new show clothes. And there was, no way I was buying this little girl who was getting down the ground with the dogs and loving and playing with them a $300 suit. So I was buying everything, used, gently used. And while I was looking, I was seeing other sizes and other clothes. So having not seen any used clothing vendors at dog shows and putting this together, it was like an epiphany. Maybe this is what I should do. So we started in May of 2019 at our first show was Spokane, Coeur d'Alene here in Spokane, Washington. And the rest, as they say, is history. And then just last month, we opened our online store for the first time. We'd been 100% vendor based prior to that. So,
oh my gosh, I didn't even know you had an online store. You're going to have to send me the link so that we can include that and people can tap that resource as well.
Be happy to do that. So
excellent. So talk to us, Veronica. Talk to us about, I think let's start with you, because for me, they literally are the difference between life and death, and all of the neck and back and knee problems that I have that could have been avoided had I spent $200 on a pair of shoes sooner than I did.
Right. And I preface this with, I don't even sell shoes, but I am as equally passionate as you are. In my early mid-20s, I had a issue with my foot. I felt like I was walking in a hard pee. And I ended up finding a podiatrist that had a shoe store, of all things. Oh. And I asked him why he had a shoe store. And he said he could fix 90% of all foot, knee, and hip problems with the right shoes. And then I asked, well, why do podiatrists suggest surgery so often? And he literally said, because podiatrists need to eat too. Um, I was like, okay. So he
I
put
mean,
me in a good
full disclosure, right?
full disclosure, right. So he put me in a good pair of shoes and he goes, never walk barefoot again, maybe except for the beach. And it has been life changing. So I'm like you. I will go and get a good pair of shoes and then I snoop and find them on sale or used but I've become passionate about good shoes and I've been known. A couple handlers can attest to this of grabbing people and going, you need to get out of those shoes because you will have hip and knee and back problems before you're 35 if you don't.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So good shoes are
It's
important.
real. So talk to us about what that means to you. I think about it as the construction of the shoe, the arch support, the fit,
Yes.
right? So talk to us about what you think about with that.
So if you can find a small shoe store in your area that actually has a fit specialist and they have a fancy name for it and they do still exist, I would go to one. I would run to one. But you also need to know a little bit about your own foot issues. Like do you roll in? That's called pronating. Do you roll out? There are different things. You have high arches, low arches, and there are running stores now that you can go in and put your feet on things and it will show you, your arch. I did, I've done some classes online and there was a class with a shoe specialist and a couple things that you want. This is a typical looking
Look,
shoe.
you even have a shoe. I'm so proud.
Isn't this awesome? So what you want is you do want some cushioning. We're in concrete all day. I'm not running circles, but I'm standing in a booth. We're in concrete all day. People are running all day. You need something with some good cushion. You want to look for a non-slip. Some of the stores online now actually say non-slip. If you need an arch, you need a good arch. I would even recommend sometimes the shoes will, have the insole come out. Mm-hmm. Arch supports. You can get them for $40, $50 at running stores. I've seen them in sections sometimes at like TJ Maxx and Ross. And the over-the-counter ones, I've been told by a shoe specialist, are as good as the custom $400 podiatrist ones.
Really?
So you're going to have to experiment and determine if that works for you or not. But this is a pair of Beezies. I happen to wear, this is a shoe I wear. I like this. You want the arch. I like the stretch because I have a wide toe box. Mm-hmm. But you also, if you pronate in, this part of the shoe is called the canter, right around here.
Okay.
If you pronate in, you want a shoe with a firm canter. And most of those shoes are going to be a
heel. Is that the idea? Okay.
That plus an arch support prevents you from rolling in. Mm-hmm. And so, unfortunately, these shoes and the Skechers type shoes generally don't have a firm canter, but they're comfortable in so many other ways. So if you don't pronate in, you might, or you're not running around like me, you might like something like that. Some of the brands that will have that firm canter are generally a leather shoe. So like you can find those with like Clark's and Abeo has some.
I live in Clark's. I swear by Clark's, Merrill's, sometimes Easy Spirit, but Clark's are my ride or die.
And a really great shoe that has a really great arch support is Vionics, Vionics. And Abeos have different levels of inserts, so you can get a shoe and they'll have different options of inserts. The Walking Company used to have stores, brick and mortar. They don't anymore, but they're still online. Mm-hmm. And then also your Birkenstock stores often have a greater variety of just Birks. So you might want to check them out because they usually have good quality shoes. I'd look for European shoes. Mm-hmm. Naots, Naots, they have some really good leather shoes also. Shoes like this. These are the ones I tackle people over and try to take them off their feet.
Terrible. So another brand for people, Hotter, Hotter. I've had great success with them. They're in England, but they're really reasonably priced, and they ship no problem, and it works out fine. And I think part of the struggle, and I've had this conversation with many friends over the years who are much girlier and more focused on it has to be pretty than it has to be comfortable, is it has to be pretty. Well, I have to be pretty. Well, that's great. You can be pretty in a wheelchair. I mean, that's
Yeah,
fine.
yes, yes. Well, as one female judge I talk to, because I'll talk to judges and ask them questions about clothing and what's acceptable, because I hear all kinds of things in my booth. And as one said, I'm not looking at that end of the lead. So you got to remember they're there looking at the dog, and there's so many. I mean, I think this is a pretty nice looking shoe. It's got a little sparkly band without overdoing it. So there are prettier, or they're getting better. They're looking nicer. They're not looking like your grandma's shoes anymore. The other thing I forgot to mention, I think is important in a comfortable shoe, is these kind of shoes can go flying off your feet. And
has happened to me. In fact, I have stories on the podcast about my shoe flying across the ring as I'm running around leading the group. It was amazing.
Yes. Yeah, and everybody behind you is going, oh
no, everybody. I just kept running, and so the story goes, I'm wearing one of those, not quite ballet flats, but real low cut toe and all of that, leading the group, running around. This is before, when I was still young and invincible in my own mind, right? And I had to keep running with one shoe on and one shoe off, and we go all the way around the ring, and everybody comes trailing in, and the last dog in was the Clumber Spaniel that was being handled by my friend Carlos Puig. And Carlos ran to the center of the ring, picked the shoe up, waved it over his head, and said, "Cinderella, Cinderella."
No.
Yes. And so I ran out to the center of the ring, curtsied, ran back, and stacked my dog. Dana Klein was judging. We were in Minnesota. It is emblazoned on my brain.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So it wasn't enough that you lost it. You had to announce it to the whole world.
Yeah. Well, the fact that I had one bare foot might have been an announcement, but whatever.
Might have been. Maybe. Right. But it could have been more subtle. So to prevent that, something with a really high, see how high this comes up versus this one? This one just stops right there. Or a Mary Jane. They have the little strap across the top. Mary Janes are great. They're not coming off your feet unless that strap breaks. So you can do an internet search for Mary Janes. Some of the stores we've mentioned, some general stores just to go and compare and look. DSW is great. Zappos online.
Zappos is amazing. I love Zappos. I've gotten several really great shoes off of Zappos.
Yep, and just wait. When you find the shoe you love, you just wait till it goes on sale and to save yourself some money. Nordstrom Rack. I've got these Yeezys, Nordstrom Rack. About 30.
Nordstrom Rack. We don't have one down here. It makes me cry.
The sorrows of living in the country. But
valid.
Those are general good places to look. And, they're also, if you need to be in tennis shoes, places like Skechers and some of the other ones are making solid colored, nicer looking tennis shoes. I would just say find something that, coordinates with your outfit. Obviously, you don't want the shoe to be a distraction. So you have options now, and there's no excuse for this. I will tackle you. So
watch out, Mama Bear's coming to get you, girls.
And that's what I say. This is mom speaking now. This is your mom.
Totally true. So talk a little bit about guys, because I think that we tend to forget that there are boys and men that show dogs. And I know I had a former handling partner that I worked with that showed in golf cleats outside, and I thought that was just like the most dangerous thing on the planet.
But he didn't slip and fall.
Didn't slip and fall, but I'm pretty sure he tore that knee a couple times.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think about that, particularly running in circles. Ouch. It almost seems like there's more options for guys, and you've got this balance, right? So you can get a nice leather shoe for an indoor show, but you're going to ruin that leather shoe at 8 a.m. in the morning when there's dew and there's stuff outside. So you've got some nicer looking skater shoes, but the
Mhm.
problem with those is there's generally very little arch support.
Right.
Again, you same thing for the guys. You're looking for some nice a nice sole,
Kinda
preferably some
like a
arch support.
Dockers almost, right? Like that kind of
Yes,
a,
yes.
look and feel, particularly for an outside. And
Yeah.
then the other one I wanted to touch on really quick, both from the support and structure piece and also from the fashion piece. Boots. Everybody's got a thing about boots. We're coming into winter. Boots kind of come and go. Talk to us, because I happen to have a pair of boots. They're Cabela's, actually. They're not Clark's. This particular pair is Cabela's. And they are the most comfortable thing I own, and I can move in them, stand in them, run in them all day. So talk about
I,
that.
I have a number of clients who do not like the way their calves look, and they'll be in boots even in the summertime. And I get that. I think they look quite attractive if you're wearing a skirt and a blazer, or maybe if you want a denim skirt, the boots. I would just say try and keep a nice line between them. So you have a skirt, then you've got a gap, and you've got your jeans. Well, if your skirt's black and your boots are black, I don't want to see white knees, right?
Oh,
So maybe
good tip. Good one.
maybe
Yes, very
a
important.
black hose or some hose, some a tight or hoe or some hose that make that transition seamless. So it's not like this distracting line there.
Hmm.
But you've got some really comfortable boots out there that will have that arch support, or it's easy to insert one
Hmm.
in it. A cute little vest with a turtleneck and a skirt, particularly for Tri-Cities in the winter and the
Right.
fall when it
Right.
can be snowing practically outside.
Monroe, that's where I learned how to wear boots. With
Yeah,
the Island Kennel Club in Monroe in November, where
with
I
the
will be
rain,
visiting
with
next
the
weekend
rain.
in boots. I promise you.
Yeah. And the great thing about boots too is some of those waterproof ones look like nice black
Yep.
leather boots.
Yep.
And so you're going to love it when you're taking your sporting dog out at 8 a.m. in the morning on the grass to have a waterproof shoe because it's not
That's why I
pretty.
love my boots. Okay,
Yeah.
good. So we covered boots, shoes, men's shoes. I think that that's a good solid foundation. Only thing I would add to it, flip-flops should be banned from the earth. Ask me how I know.
Oh,
Um,
I've heard stories. You're not the only one.
so that's one. Flip-flops should be banned from the earth. And pro tip from a handler perspective, right? Have more than one pair of shoe for each day.
Yes.
Changed
Yes.
shoes, because even if it's just changing the angle of your heel by this much, it makes an enormous difference. Pat Rogers, Don and Pat Rogers is the one who taught me that a million years ago as a handler. Change your shoes at lunch, and it makes all the difference in the world.
That's a great tip I had not heard. We always bring extras just in case we get wet
Change
or
your
something.
shoes every single day. Change your shoes at lunch. Makes a world of difference. And you don't have to have it be a drastic change, don't go from crocodile to plaid, right? But just, you've got two pairs of black shoes. Put on a different pair of black shoes in the afternoon.
Yeah. And don't
And
let your shoes run down either. Don't let your shoes get run down. If you
yeah,
are a handler or an exhibitor that's going out every weekend, 6 months max, you need to toss those shoes.
I
Or
am the worst at that. I will tell you, I am still wearing around the house shoes that I handled in, and I retired 5 years ago. So I am the worst because I'm so cheap, and I spent $200 on those shoes, and by God, I'm going to get every penny out of them.
right. Well, and as long as you're not running around on them for 10 hours,
Right.
that's fine.
I
But,
can't, I'm not doing that anymore. But even judging, it's the same. And I have this one particular pair of Clarks that I finally found something I could replace them with, because I couldn't find anything else that was as comfortable.
yeah.
So, okay. So shoes, that's really important.
Trupanion is revolutionizing medical insurance for pets by providing the best possible experience to our members. And it's not some space-age dream. It's happening now. We pay your veterinarian directly while you're checking out, and we're the only ones who can. which means you have decisions in seconds and you don't have to wait for reimbursement. So unlike with other providers, you'll keep more money in your pocket. Ask your veterinarian if Trupanion can pay them directly, because there's pet insurance and then there's Trupanion.
If you have casual shoes to wear around the setup, which I also recommend, it's part of that changing your shoe thing, don't forget to take them off. If you show up at the ring in your Crocs, you're going to be really sad.
That's why I thought you were going with the flip-flops, because I've heard stories of going in with their Crocs or flip-flops or slippers. I mean, I hear all the stories.
No, flip-flops to me are actually a liability. They're dangerous. I know a very dear friend of mine that broke her ankle wearing a pair of flip-flops. Flip-flops, and if kids that were in my setup were not allowed to wear flip-flops in the setup. One dog steps on that flip-flop, you biff it, the dog takes off. No, flip-flops are against the law. So, just FYI.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah. So, okay. Now, and no heels. Never, if you're new to the dog show ring, please don't come in, even with your Yorkie in a big heel. It's just, it tends to clunk and scare the dogs and all the other things. I know pretty is important, but there are pretty flats.
Yeah, even like a dance go heel, it's just too easy to turn in those. Yep. And that's only like an inch and a half, maybe 2. Yeah.
It's I have terrible ankles from just even in flat shoes, rolling them in the mole holes around the universe. So yeah, flat shoes. Yeah. Okay, so on to, that's the foundation of our feet, which is the foundation of everything. And our next conversation, which is going to be a little dicier. We're going to talk about foundation garments. What do we wear underneath our clothes?
Yes.
Folks and friends.
So, obviously there's different conversations for guys and gals. So I'm going to focus on what I sell, which is to women, but a good bra is everything. I mean, it's everything. And I know I have 2 of my old favorites that I still like to wear because they're super comfortable, yada, 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 but you need a good bra. And, unless you're 17 and a 32B, you're not going to find it at that VS store. You're just not going to find it there, and most department stores don't have the variety, which is so frustrating. As someone who has had to get undergarments at boutiques since I was 20, because I was just an odd size, I am sympathetic. So a good bra, you feel more confident. It helps with your posture. If you have a poor fitting bra, it can actually do damage to your back and your chest, and it can bother your neck. So it gives you confidence. It's better for your health. Better posture means you breathe better.
You're not always constantly digging in your under your to pull the straps up. Drives me crazy.
Yes. And so if you don't know, and likely, I would say probably a very high percentage, somewhere between 50% or higher, gals are not wearing the right size bra just because we've never been taught how to measure, how to wear the right size bra. Some of the nice online stores, like one I really like and have been shopping with for years, is Her Room. Another one's Adore Me. Okay. Nordstrom's is pretty good about this. Will have a guide right online how to properly measure yourself, because there is, you've got the rib cage measurement and you have around the apex of the breast measurement, and those are 2 different things. And so you need to get the right size. If you want someone else to do it, a lot of towns, even our little town, has a boutique that specializes in like bridal wear and that sort of thing, but they have a nice bra section, and they will fit you there. They will tell you your measurements, fit you. Go to one of the boutiques, buy your first bra there, support local and small, and then go online and find it at Adore Me or Her Room. Again, find it on sale. But once you find one, get it in 4 colors. Because if you find one you love, just get it. And depending on your size, you've got underwire, wire. These places have every kind. It's like 40 different filters.
Right. Everybody's got a thing. I I finally, after years and years and years of abject aggravation at slipping bra straps, I went to a straight sports bra, and it's all I wear
Yep.
anymore. And
Yep.
you know, it's comfortable, it's easy, and I don't have to screw with it.
And there are, you don't have to get one at Costco. I mean, they have them there, and if you can fit that size, fabulous. But all of these places I'm mentioning have good quality ones. So if you've got a 34 rib cage and a F cup, you can find them at Her Room or Adore Me or Nordstrom's.
Mm-hmm.
And if your boutique doesn't have your size, they can probably order it.
You know,
Sports bras are great. You're right. They don't.
Sports bras are fabulous. And the other thing, for people who aren't familiar, there are specialized equine rider bras, like the
Yes.
undergarments that we use for riding are so amazing, because part of it is comfort, part of it is not screwing around with the straps, part of it is support because you're running. And part of what you're doing as an exhibitor, as a handler, whatever, is presenting a very quiet appearance.
Yes. And so the only thing that should bounce is the dog's hair. Yes. So we need to
as gently as I can do this, girls. I'm just saying, Free Willy is not a thing.
Yes. So, indeed. And we've all been there. And hopefully we have a village that tells us you need something else. But
and I want to make very, very clear, none of this is to be unkind or unpleasant. We are trying to be helpful. And as a judge, it is not my job to worry about who's got bouncing boobies, but it is hard at times to concentrate on what you're trying to see with the dog. That's just a fact. Yeah. So everything that we can do as exhibitors that keeps us quiet and behind the scenes and not distracting from the dog is a thing we should do.
Right. And it doesn't matter what size you are, you can get good supportive bras. Mm-hmm. And then, the other items, you talked about foundation wear, pantyhose, shapewear. Those are options for some people. Just a note, most St. John knitwear skirts are see-through. So if you're wearing one, you might want to consider a slip. Yes. Yeah. Just because it's a knit doesn't mean it's not see-through. So, I take skirts and I hold them up to windows, and that kind of, if you need to do that beforehand or ask a friend, slips are getting harder to find, but
it is. What is that about? You're a fashion queen. Tell me why you can't. I have a slip that is too small because I can't find one anymore to find anywhere.
People aren't dressing up as much, there's just the whole, and everybody moved to home offices. Well, not everybody, but a lot of folks moved to home offices with COVID, and they are harder to find.
I didn't wear a bra for 3 years, man. Tell me. I'm just saying. It's facts. Just facts. Here we are on Zoom. What do you see, people?
That's right. That's right. Exactly. Hey, yeah. The whole short thing. Pajama bottom. Yeah. So the places I've mentioned, Her Room, Adore Me, Nordstrom's, they have slips. You probably could also find one at a bridal boutique in your area.
How do you feel about various shapewear, and do you have brand preferences or recommendations? I am a person who definitely and frantically needs shapewear, but I can't, just because of my own personal health issues, squishing my guts is a bad thing. So finding ways to work in that solution.
I don't have a favorite brand. I personally only exhibit on the, my dog won and I wasn't expecting it to, and now I have two. Can you run a dog in real quick? So if you see me running out of my booth and in, that's happened sometimes. So I don't show enough, really don't have an opinion on brands. I hear about different brands that are out there. There are now shapewear, where there's underwear that has control panels, so you don't have to do the whole thing. I do like kind of the boy shorts or the shapewear that come down part thigh, because I've had a number of customers come in and go, the reason I never wear skirts anymore is because I fell in the ring one time and showed everything.
Woo!
Yeah, so those shorts are really helpful for that also.
I
And
will not wear a skirt without basically shorts, either bicycle shorts or a little short thingy watsits underneath. And that's it, you know, it's just a thing. When a handler friend said to me at one point any number of years ago, "Shh, bend your knees, it's a dog show, not a cat show." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's the kind of thing that just kind of brings you up by the yeah.
Yeah, we see that occasionally, and so you just want to avoid that. What I would say in shapewear is you want to look for something that they can tend to roll down certain brands at the top.
Actually,
And
the worst is the ones that roll up on the legs. Drives
on the
me
legs.
nuts.
Yeah.
So finding the ones that don't roll up on the leg, that's a big deal.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So they have ones that are like a bib that come underneath the bra. That's going to be a personal preference. I would go try some on if you can. If not, I would check carefully at the return policy in these stores and make sure you don't order it on a weekend you're at a dog show and miss that 3-day window to return it. Been there, done that. So try different ones out and see what works for you. Yeah, and shapewear, I don't have brand specific, but
okay. One last piece while we're thinking about various and sundry things. A lot of women, a lot of young women, even particularly, have gone to no hosiery, just given up on nylon, which I have to admit I'm falling in that category every now and then. And so then you are left with shoes and sweaty feet. And so my recommendation on that is Gold Bond powder. Better even than baby powder, medicated Gold Bond powder that will keep your feet from sticking to your shoes. And less obnoxious than the that's foot thingies that roll down and make you crazy. So that's
the other thing I would say is if you really hate pantyhose, you can wear slacks, ladies. We're
gonna have a whole episode on you're allowed to wear pants.
Thank you, because I want to talk about that.
No, that's gonna be our next episode, y'all. We're out of time for today, but our next episode is yes, you may wear pants at the dog show.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Veronica, thank you so much. This has been great fun. I'm looking forward to having a few more of these conversations with you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Have a good day.